Hello guys, Sisikat here and welcome to this how I do my edits tutorial. Since I'm doing a lot of things with my edits, I'm gonna actually divide it up into different parts / chapters. In this tutorial, we're gonna focusing on the main in general. We're gonna focusing on adding in different layers. And next time we're gonna then go for adding shadow and light to the main and also begin on the tail. So let's begin with the main. First thing first, I use Photoshop to draw main and tail and also my edits in general. And I'm also using the vacuum Intuitus or something like that. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right. To draw, it's a very good drawing tablet. Actually have a paper feeling actually on the surface, but the downside with that is that the tip of the pen gets very easy. But it is several tips, or you get tip with the pen kind of, so you can change that. But yeah, that's the kind of the negative thing with this paper feeling tablet, but I love it, I really do. Anyway, back to the tutorial. Alright, let's have the first thing first. I normally go through the horse's colors and then basically line them up, kind of. Always start with the darkest one and then work up to the lightest. And of course, I have different brush sizes for each color, so I will show that later on. But first, when you are using like a tablet but also your mouse, you need to make sure that the mouse and pen can go between pen pressure and then you're using a mouse again. So I normally always go to my brush tool, of course, and then make sure that always use pressure for opacity and always use pressure for size. So this is for opacity and this is for size. So I always make sure these are clicked while I'm using my pen or drawing tablet. This is gonna be interesting, you guys. And also over here, brushes and under brush setting, like see here, I have used the mouse and now this is not in the pen pressure settings. I need to go to shape dynamics and click off and on, and then we'll go back to normal. So that can happen when you're going back and forth between the tablet and the mouse, that it can change. Let's begin, you guys. Okay, I have my pen tool here and I'm going to go down to size 10. I switch between 20, have you heard that? 10 and 12, but we go for 10 right now and we go for a soft round brush. For some reason, I have the whole Photoshop in English, but general brushes is called generelle pensler in Norwegian for some reason. So yes, general brushes here and soft round brush. It's very weird actually. The rest of the Photoshop is in English, so that's actually quite fun. Anyway, after I have choose the brush size, I go down here to choose the color picker, obviously, and the darkest color that I'm gonna begin with, and I make sure pen pressure is on and all. Oopsies. Yeah, it's very funny going in and out all the time. Of course, wow, I have forgot several things, you guys. Okay, after we have picked the color, the size, we also make sure that opacity is up to 100, flow is 100, and smoothing is 25%. So always have opacity up to 100. Of course, you can play around with that, but I begin normally with opacity on 100. All right, we have the opacity, the size, the brush size, right, and the color. Then always make sure to work on layers. Do not draw directly on the horse, because if you are regretting something and are using the eraser, you will erase the whole horse. So always when you're gonna draw a mane, for example, go to new layer button down here and say we call it mane, just normal like that, and you start drawing. Not sure if you're gonna get this right on the first try, you guys. It's actually quite difficult to get it okay in the beginning. Trust me, I have done this several times and I'm changing my mind all the time. But Also, it's important to remember this first layer here do not like look very good. So you maybe see this as, oh, this is the main groundwork kind of and how the main gonna look like. But trust me, it will be much better when you add the different brush sizes and different colors. It will be way better afterwards. Trust me, this is not how the main will look like when it's the done product. So here, I'm gonna speed up a bit, so get finished with this first layer. So now we're just having like groundwork, I would call that, a ground color, and then we could do a lot of things when we are adding the lighter colors eventually. But we need also the bangs in front of here, or we need here in the, yeah, in the face, kind of. We're using the same colors, same brush size, and are drawing bangs as well. Of course, trust me, I changed this so many times as well. It's not easy to actually draw the mane and tail because it looks weird the first time and second and third and all that. But I have learned the first ground color should be like, just take it out there and then you can change a lot of things later on. So yeah, I've tried to say that to myself several times, but of course it's not easy. All right, now we have the first layer with the darkest color on. And again, when you're going for the next color, next lighter color with a smaller brush, always go for a new layer. Do not draw on the same layer because then it will be difficult to change things afterwards. But when you're done, you can of course make a copy of all the layers, put them in a group, and then you can merge them eventually. I will show that. Maybe not this time, but when we are done with the whole edit. All right, next one is the lighter color. So let's first go for a new layer. Call this main lighter. I have these weird names for any layer I do, but yeah, there. And now we're gonna drop down to 5 in size. So yeah, we are dropping fast. And of course, make sure to have pen pressure on for size and opacity. Always check the brush settings in case you have used the mouse, for example. And then we continue. We can zoom in a bit so it looks easier to work on it. Like, it doesn't look very nice now, but like I said, the smaller the brush size you get and the lighter, you can be able to do a lot of things. And the brush will look nice as well. So let's start with the bangs first. So like, I feel more comfortable when I'm using the small ones because I feel also the brush is like much softer somehow. And of course we have like shadowing and lightening up on all that as well. So trust me, this is just the very start of the work. Like, it takes a lot of time. Okay, I'm gonna speed up this part as well so it doesn't take so much time. Now we have the second layer on. Oh, I see a little arrow here, but that we can use the eraser for later on. You see already that you have already a lot of detail just by adding the second layer on. And the good thing with like having on different layers is like, you see it looks a little weird here, but that you can erase away or take away later on without destroying the other layer on top of the dark one. So that's why it's always important to work on different layers. So I think it already looks much better with the second layer on, and it will just get better with a lighter one. So we're gonna go right on to the next layer. The next layer is lighter, and also the brush size will be smaller. So you will see the smaller you go, the more detail you will add into the mane, and it looks much better than when you added the first layer. That looks funny. So let's now go over to our little color palette over here. choose the color picker, go for the lighter one, and then drop down to 3 actually. And of course, always, maybe that will be our first step next time, always have or add a new layer, main, even lighter. We go for weird names, you guys, but yeah. Always work on layers. Then color picker, use the lighter color, then go to 3. And then we're gonna continue. Like, you see how much more detail you get when the brush is like even smaller. I love this though. I love when I get to the point where I can use the smaller brushes, because then I get to see the detail in the main. And I'm like, ooh, okay. My idea was not that bad than it first looked like when I added the first layer. You can see I have added some here that actually flying away, so I will try to follow that. That was a little difficult actually. Maybe I need to turn it. There we go. Yeah, it can be a little tricky the first time. But again, when you are working on different layers, you can do changes with the layer you're working on and not destroying the other ones under. That's so important, I cannot say it enough. Super important. So, now we are to this part again when I'm gonna speed up so we get this main done. Now we have added a third layer and you can already see how much details you get in the main already. So, like, time is really flying away from us, you guys. So, next step is to add a new layer, of course. Then color picker. Then go for the next light color. And also go up to brush. And this time we're gonna go to 2. So much of the edges is lighter than the hair that is in the middle here. It's like focusing on the top, the edges, and also the hairs that flies. But you can of course add some light here and there, so you will get like different layers or details and layers on the main. Let's then, yep, we have that, we have 2. So let's now, oops, I forgot to call this something. Oh, we have called this mape, not main. Interesting. Main light tree. Wow, my names. Anyway, you will have your own control of this, but always have different layers for different colors and brush sizes. All right, we continue. Now I try to add some light here and there, and yeah, I totally forgot that too. When you have this, for example, Wacom drawing tablet, you can change the pressure on how you draw. I have done that a lot of time as well. So it's important to change that so it will be comfortable, first of all, to do this. And also so you get the result you want, kind of. It is, of course, okay to like not take the pencil all the way down. You can stop in the middle and then continue further down so you will get this shape you want. Because having the all the way down well, that actually didn't look so bad, but normally I stop in the middle and continue down here, so I will have a little more control over the shapes I'm drawing, kind of. And here you can also begin to like shape the hair ends a little more if you want them to be more together, or if you want them to be like all over the place. That's all up to you. So I'm gonna speed up the part here as well, and then we're gonna go for a very light one as the last. All right, the main is actually looking better already, and of course I think we can add some out here as well, since I see the main is looking a little funny. But yeah, like I said, when we are working on different layers, we can do a lot of changes or we can fix things later on. But if we only are working on one layer, we are like locking ourselves to do it right the first time. And trust me, I Never do that. Okay, now we are on, I would say, the last layer we're gonna use for this, but of course we're gonna add some more layers eventually, but we're gonna use the last layer for this color palette over here. So sometimes, that depends on the main actually, I use like white, which is very light, or I use the lightest color in this color palette. I think we're gonna say white for next time. Gonna actually wait a bit with using white until we have added light and shadow to the main that we're gonna do next time. So, of course, I always do this in wrong order. I should always add layer first and then pick the color. Oh wow. Okay, lightest main. Yeah, and of course, writing errors don't count in this video. Okay, then color picker. Pick the lightest color that is not white this time. We're gonna go all the way down to, not 4, but we're gonna go all the way down to 1. Now I'm also using the keyboards that always double check if that also do something with the pen pressure. It doesn't, but if I go between, like I said already a lot of time, if I go between the mouse cursor and the pen and tablet, it can change away from pen pressure. So make sure to go into brushes and brush settings to double check, always. All right. I added a lot of light with this color, but with the lightest one, we are not doing that much work because we want to keep this nice looking color here, but add the lightest one on the very end of the hair, also on the very top. Be very light when you draw here, not very hard pressure on the tablet. Very light movements. I do actually 2 things with this light color. Sometimes I let them stay as they are now, or I smooth them a little bit so they will not be so sharp, because you see it's different kind of strokes. I feel like they are sometimes a little sharp, so I smooth them out a little bit. So maybe we will do that for this one, because I see it looks really funny actually. So from here I'm gonna speed up this process a bit. So, like I said, I feel like this strokes is very harsh on the main. So here I'm actually gonna smooth out the lightest color a little bit. Then to do that, I go to, let's see, blur tool. But if you hold in, you can get to the smooch tool. I'm only gonna have a strength of 8, so very small changes. We're gonna zoom in here again, and we're gonna do this smooch. So it will like very smooth into the rest of the main, so it will not be these harsh strokes as I can see they are right now. And of course, if you think this is too like smoothing out, you can add more of these light layers and smooth them out again. You have like more natural fit into the main somehow, because I thought right now they were too like very harsh really. And you can also do some changes on the layer you have as the lightest one. Like here you have actually the, I'm not sure what this is called exactly, but you can change how the layers act actually, and instead of doing it lighter, yeah, you can have this as well. It's very funny. Normally it's set on normal, but you can actually change to go to darker, and also like color burn, liner burn, darker color. But you can also choose lighter, like liner dodge is a very harsh one. But then you can get the light very visible on the main. But here is a funny thing. To like, right now I think it's a little too light, but I can always adjust the opacity of it and the fill. I get the result I want for it. I normally do this a lot of times, but that's all up to you if you want to do that on this particular color. I do it when I go for white, the lightest one. I do it a lot and I smooch a lot so it not looks a little weird on the rest of the mane. So that's all we have time for you guys in this tutorial, but I will of course continue next Sunday. I found this very funny to do. And then we're gonna focusing on lightening the mane a little more and also add shadow, and we're also gonna do the tail and do the same there as well. I think I'm gonna maybe speed up a lot of things on the tail because we do much of the same things. So okay, you guys, that was the first part of this tutorial. We have a lot left. We have the tail, we have shadow and lightning on the mane and tail, and of course we have some details on the horse we're gonna do as well, and also add the background. So this tutorial will be divided into different parts. So you guys, what do you think about this first tutorial here? Do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments below. If anything wasn't clear here, also let me know in the comments below and I will explain it in the next tutorial. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. And again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Share it with friends and family, and also subscribe to my channel for videos from horse games. And also, I have my edits there if you want to check them out as well. And I see you next Sunday for the next part of the tutorial.